The next event, Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara with his main squeeze Ty Meloconti. And I always want to like everything Bryan Danielson does. And he was so brilliant, not only there for a while, but consistently. But I couldn't get into this match as much as I normally do with Danielson stuff. I mean, it was a modern style match. At least Danielson takes his time and everything that he does looks good. But Sammy started kicking at the opening, started kicking the shit out of Danielson for a while. And then Bryan comes back out and gets the Romero special. So, I mean, Sammy just got all over him and just beat the piss out of him. And then Bryan gets this great technical hold. And they, then finally go into the break. Sammy takes back over on him and does a big backflip. And they come back, and it was really Sammy getting heat on Danielson and just kicking and or chopping. And finally he kicked him, 20 times. And Bryan just gets up and starts a comeback with chops and kicks. Lots of kicks. There was a dive in there and then some more kicks and then a bunch of flips. And then Danielson got the label lock. Sammy got a rope break. And then they both got up and set up to do a double backflip off the fucking top rope. And then Danielson finally just hits his running knee and did the stomps, got him in a triangle, hit him with the elbows, and the referee just stopped it. Okay, that's enough. Normally I'd say, okay, the babyface beats the heel clean. No out. Sammy's in the doghouse or whatever the fuck anyway. But this is like another match or another finish they have in almost every other match. The finish comes out of nowhere and it's flat. And whether the heel loses or the babyface loses, nobody has an out or nobody has a bitch or nobody got fucked or the heel didn't deserve to get fucked. It just ends. And they don't build to they think building to a climax is all these multiple over and over sequences of moves that they do that are faster and faster, but you don't have to do 100 things. When you build to a finish, the 1, 2, 3 or the I quit or the tap out or whatever should be the big pop. And you should have been building to that point, whether it was 3 things that meant something or 100 that didn't. But but half the time in these days, or these matches, the biggest pops are in the middle. And then the finish is like, oh, wow, it was starting to get old. So I guess it was about time they did that. It's like if the best part of the movie was halfway in and then you still had to piss and get popcorn and sit through the finish. What do you think, Bryan?
Well, you know what I've thought of Bryan Danielson stuff recently, and I've not been happy to say that I have not really enjoyed his matches just because, I don't know, everything just seems kind of flat right now. With Sammy Guevara, I think I said it when we reviewed the roster. Here's a guy that could be such a great heel on that roster, but he's never on his own. Here he is, comes out with her. They're perfect together as a young heel couple you want to hate. And then, I don't know. His matches, to me, don't really do it. I mean, then he usually does one crazy spot. And
he's not working like a heel. He's still doing the big springboard into the jumping cutter off the top rope or the back moonsault into the Asahara fucking water slide or whatever the fuck they call everything. And that doesn't get any heat on him. His face and his girl do that, but then he wants to outshine the babyface and still impress people that he's crazy and he'll risk his neck so they'll cheer what he does even though they're supposed to hate him.
Is the Spanish fly off the top rope move the dumbest move in wrestling?
I don't know why. And why would you do that? Why would you take it? Why would anybody believe it? It just, okay, they stand there and, okay, let's go. And one guy back flips and one guy front flips. You can't tell who's pitching and who's catching. It should hurt both guys pretty much equally.
Should the physics of wrestling always be visual, easily to the audience in your eyes, if that makes any sense?
It should easily be understandable visibly who executed the move and who took the brunt of the move. Who got hurt and who did it on purpose. That should easily and instantly be visually obvious, or elsewise you've fucked up. You really have. I can't think of anything. They say there's an exception to every rule, but in this case, I don't think there is. I don't think there is a good wrestling move that's ever been done where the audience didn't immediately know which guy got hurt and which guy did the move to the other guy. As speaking of what we don't understand, real briefly, Renee Moxley Good was in the back with Penthouse and Alex. We love Alex, and he barely had a chance to say anything. And then here came Christian Cage and Dino. They walked in when...
Was it Penthouse or Phoenix?
No, it was Penthouse and Alex.
Oh.
I thought it was Penthouse. Well, it's one of them. Alex was there.
Yeah, he was definitely there.
Yeah, it's Penthouse because he's going to wrestle for the AEW title later on, but they wanted to win the Atlantic title.
Right, it was his brother, Phoenix. Now you got me doing it. Phoenix.
Well, whichever. Point is, the one guy wants to win the All-Atlantic title, but Cage and Dino come in when they mention it because they want all the titles. Even though the guy that was standing there, Felix, if that was him, he was standing there, he was holding a belt. And then, as soon as they mention the Atlantic title and that they want it, then Pockets walks in holding that belt, and everybody stood and stared at each other, and Pockets just stared at the camera and didn't even look at the people that he was kind of mumbling to. And then it all was over.